Hi, healer. I was talking to you about balance last message, so I'm gonna keep continuing with balance a little bit because it's really important to find your balance. That's one of the best things and the easiest things you can do, and there's so many different things to it. But I got into a little bit yesterday about how when a toxic person tries to get you off balance, they can ask you a question or persuade you to do something that you don't want to do, that they know that you probably wouldn't agree to doing unless you were already busy or anxious and off balance. And so I was talking a little bit about that, but that's actually a form of coercive control. And so I wanted to do a little bit about that. So coercive control, well, we always say like that's like a bad form of control. People don't really get into it, like what exactly that means, coercive control. Well, I just explained to you that's coercive control. So you're actually not realizing how bad it is for someone to put you off balance just to get you to do what you want. They want you to do something that you wouldn't do unless they put you off balance. And the fact that they're actually, conniving it, it's not like they're like really waiting for you to be off balance so they can ask you a specific question or put you off balance, triggering you. So what is coerce? So basically to control, especially by exploiting fear, anxiety. So controlling somebody by exploiting fear or anxiety on. To compel by force, intimidation, or authority, especially without regard for individual desire or relation. So this is somebody, it says, to compel by force, intimidation, or authority. Sometimes people in authority use that and they think they have the right to. They think the position of authority gives them the right to be coercive and controlling. And so that's a misconception, obviously. Somebody who's in authority has the authority, but they also have the responsibility to be responsible, right? So that doesn't give them the right to control because being controlling is irresponsible. To bring about through the use of force or other forms of compulsion. So it's like control and at any means to use force and any other way that they can get you to do it. Intimidation, right? So it's abuse of power, obviously, but sometimes you're not in a power circumstance. It's a relationship where there really isn't a power struggle there, like with friends or something, but they could be coercively controlling to get you to do the things that they want you to do. And why do they want to do that? Because they don't want to go about it alone. So when you're talking about somebody who's controlling, they have this need to control others because they're insecure in themselves and they feel out of control themselves. So they need to control others to feel secure. So you're actually like a stabilizer. So by them getting you off keel, they feel like that makes them feel more balanced. And so that's part of the cycle as well. They need you to feel balanced. So putting you off balance makes them feel balanced. Now, that's something to look out for. When you see somebody who's okay with putting other people off balance, you know that person is being manipulative in some way. And if they're not able to handle or control the situation, then they become off balance themselves because that's the proof that they've lost control. So if you see somebody who seems to be controlling, all of a sudden off balance, feeling out of control, that means they've lost some control. So they immediately have to do something. One of these things, intimidate, cause anxiety, have a situation that makes somebody else off balance so that they could feel that security and feel like they're in control again. I mean, that's unusual for someone. It should be unusual for someone to feel good about you being off balance, right? So what it says is, the last thing I says is through the use of force or other forms of compulsion. So I believe it's the compulsion is brought out of insecurity. It's a circle of loss of control, compulsion, and then to establish that mode of control again. So it starts off, they're out of control. So that makes them, they're feeling a sense of insecurity. So they need to be compulsive about getting control back. And they'll do it by any means they can. They'll cause any situation, force, intimidation, anxiety. We just talked about it. Abuse of authority, exploiting, causing fear. And once they get that compulsive feeling met that they're okay, I've taken care of it, this person's off balance, then they're in their mode, which is it's a stability of having control of over other people. So when you're somebody who is coercively controlling, you have to have that need met. It's a need more than anything. It's a way. It's a behavioral need. And so the other thing I said was yesterday was that it causes you to get into cognitive dissonance, right? A dissonance. So what is that? So it's mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes at the same time, right? So it's because you can change. You can have an attitude about something one day, completely have that attitude and just be living that out. And then the next day you could have a different attitude. But no, we're talking about having the same at the same time, you're having conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. So your belief system you usually have that all of the time. So that would be conflicting with your value being violated. So if you want to be balanced and you can't be, or you want to feel stable and you have a belief system that your relationship should make you feel stable, when you have someone who's coercively controlling come along and put you off balance all the time, that's going to cause some cognitive dissonance, right? So it's an imbalance and you're off, balance, and you know that you are. So what are your symptoms? You're feeling uncomfortable before going somewhere because maybe somebody who causes those things causes triggers is going to be there, or just a situation causes you to feel uncomfortable, right? So there's a trigger there for some reason. So you're going to have that feeling, or it's going to be sometimes when you're having to make a decision, and that's when I get back to the point where somebody's almost forcing you to make a decision that you don't want to make. So you'll feel that way, so you'll just jump to making the decision just to get them to stop. You'll agree with them sometime. So rationalizing an action or a decision you made. So now you're stuck with the decision that you made. So now part of the dissonance would be rationalizing that. Well, I made that decision. It's okay. And then over and over again, rationalizing this decision that you made because you felt like you made this decision under pressure when in actuality you were under control and you were forced in a sense to make this decision. And they will really force you to make the wrong decision. I mean, they'll just keep at it till you make this decision that you're uncomfortable with. Okay, being embarrassed or ashamed about your action, that's what happens too. They'll put you in a place where you're embarrassed or you're ashamed about something that you did, and that causes the more of the dishonest. Doing things because of social pressure, peer pressure, and this is your end of the cycle. So basically, the whole reason why you're going along and answering in the manner that they want you to, or you're going to places that you feel uncomfortable with going to, but you're still feeling off balance, or you're feeling the um, dishonest, it's because you're making decisions based on the coercive control. Because you're making decisions, so that causes the cycle, then being compulsive for you to make the decision, and then you feeling the pressure from the control and from the relationship to make the decision. So the two of you, the person who's asking you to do things that are out of your balance or your value or your beliefs, is actually creating the start of it, but you're continuing it by making the decision because you don't want to not make a decision, because not making a decision and make this person leave you alone or be happy is also going to cause you some mental anguish. So to balance all of this out, we just need to make decisions that line up with our belief system and our values, and be aware that there are controlling, coercive ways in people who cause situations to occur so that we will make it will seem like we're actually making decisions that we don't want to make, but we're actually being pushed to make a decision that we don't want to make. And they will leave it on you. You made this decision, you decided to do this, leaving you responsible for it because of the peer pressure. So just keep that in mind because you might even get confused to why you made the decision. That's part of it. And that's a whole nother thing. Thank you. Have a great day.